This Soviet cine modded set from Ironglass, it's by far my new favorite lens set. And here's why. We all know of this specific one Soviet lens, the Helios 44-2. This beauty of a lens, it's something that has just never been recreated afterwards. But with this beautiful look, which means swirly bokeh, which means very soft, which means a very specific color recreation whenever you shoot with it, it's very hard to match. So for a while now, I was trying to look for something similar but different. I wanted something that I could shoot a whole production with. So I wanted a wider lens, I wanted a tighter lens, but it's just very hard to find because I was looking at the Mir 1V and the Jupiter 9, and these two lenses are kind of easy to find, but not in good conditions, at least here in Indonesia. See, the thing is, when you're trying to match anything like the Helios with like a modern cine lens, it just doesn't work. It looks too different to look. One has very soft swirly bokeh and the other one is more scenic, more perfect. So I needed something along the similar lines. So when I started talking to the guys at Ironglass, I knew what I needed. I needed a 37mm, the Mir 1V, and the Jupiter 9 85mm, as well as an Helios 44-2, all in perfect conditions. Now the Helios 44-2 has very specific bokeh, so after looking at some images from the Jupiter 9 and the Mir, I knew I needed to get the anamorphic bokeh modded into them because honestly, yes, they're similar, but I want them all to be very, very, very similar. And I'm a sucker for anamorphic. So I wanted the anamorphic look without all the anamorphic downsides that you get with it. So I didn't want the crop, I didn't want the flares, I just wanted the bokeh and the look. The price of these lenses compared to any other cine lenses are actually pretty cheap. You can pick up one of these for about $300. Obviously depending on the mode that you're choosing and the mount that you're choosing. But they're not very cheap if we're talking about vintage lenses. Usually you can probably find a Helios 44-2 in decent conditions for about $50. So why would you pay an extra $250? Well, Ironglass not only chooses the best quality lenses and they make sure they're clean, they don't have any mold, and they're just in very, very, very good conditions, but also they add little touches here and there like professional focus and aperture gears that they're just nice and good to use. They add a filter at the front to bring all the lenses to 77mm, so it's easy to adapt filters or matte box. And the mounts that they give you are just very, very solid mounts. So what's the difference between a cine model lens and a rehouse lens? Because the rehouse lens sell for about 10 to 15 times the price. So a Helios 44-2 rehouse from Ironglass, instead of $300, it will be $3,500. So why would you pay that amount of money? Well, a rehouse lens just keeps the glass and changes everything around it in such a high quality material that it will last longer, it will look better if you're a production company, and just generically it's a better looking lens. So at the end of the day, the lens is the same, but what's around is different. So if you have money to spend, just get a rehouse lens. If you're like me, just like a filmmaker, run and gun, if you're kind of shooting by yourself or with a small team most of the time, then just pick up one of these $300 lenses and you're good to go. So if these lenses are so easy to find, they're so mass produced and so cheap, why are Hollywood movie sets using it like Dune, Batman and The Last Jedi? Well, the reason can be told in one simple phrase: character over perfection. See, if you're shooting anything like a commercial or just anything that has a very clean look, then definitely these lenses are not for you. But if you're shooting anything narrative or a documentary or anything along that line, you want to have character in your lenses, at least I do. Because I feel like character not only makes everything looks a bit different from anything else, but also helps tell that story you're trying to tell. For example, right now in Bali has been raining for about 2 or 3 weeks. Almost non-stop, has been actually very depressing. But I've been out shooting a few times and I decided to shoot on these lenses because I wanted to portray that grittiness, that, dirty, that imperfect look. So these lenses were the perfect choice to transmit that moody vibe feeling in a day like today, which has just been pouring the whole day. So fun fact, there's actually a crazy storm right now. So I hope you can see lighting behind me while I'm talking, because that would be actually kind of epic. But I had to stop just now because the thunder was too strong. Anyways, we're back into it. And another reason I actually really love this lens set, and I've been only shooting with these guys for the last, oh, that was lighting. Let's see if you can hear the thunder. How crazy is that? Anyways, the reason I've been only shooting with these lenses over the last 1 or 2 months, and I'm not over exaggerating, it's because they also have such a very unique focal length. 37, 58, 85, they're not your usual focal lengths. And believe it or not, between 37 and 35 millimeter, there's actually a slight, very interesting difference. On top of that, this also helps to sell this very different style of filmmaking that you want to chase, because you know everybody can shoot a shot on a 50 millimeter, but who can shoot it at 58? So this will help add that difference even more within your shots. And honestly, over the past month or two, I actually don't know how many times I got asked what lens was this shot on, both on my YouTube as well as on my Instagram. And the last thing that I want to highlight is the build quality. These lenses were made between the 60s and the 70s, which means that the lens I'm shooting this right now, the Mir 1V 37mm, was made about 60 years ago. Let that sit in for a second. 60 years ago, this glass was produced, and I still use this today, and cinematographers still use this on Hollywood sets today. So definitely that's something that you have to keep in mind. If you do invest this $300 into one or more of these lenses, they won't just fall apart on you because they're 60 to 70 years old. So to bring this video to an end, whenever you end up ordering these lenses, because I know you will, because these are beautiful lenses, and anyone who loves filmmaking should try vintage lenses, and specifically Soviet lenses, at least once in their life. But one thing you have to remember, that these lenses are not perfect, but this is what we're paying for. You're not paying for a perfect lens, you're paying for that gritty, beautiful, soft look, which is something very unique within filmmaking. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did so, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video next week. See ya.